According to some people on Twitter, Bruno Fernandes is a problem for Manchester United. Let's discuss. I feel like this conversation really divides the football community, and there's probably elements of both sides that I agree with and disagree with. One of the points that I find very interesting that people make is that no midfield three has ever worked with Bruno Fernandes. And you know what? There's an element of truth to that point. But the question I always ask is that because of Bruno Fernandes? And in my eyes, the answer to that question is no. Now, when you've looked at Manchester United's midfield threes over the years, how many times have you said it's been balanced? Not many. Ineos and the Glazers have been criticised over the last couple of years for their poor recruitment and poor, let's say, balance of their squad. So why is Bruno Fernandes in these sort of conversations getting all the flack for the poor recruitment of the midfield three? It doesn't make sense to me. Now, Bruno Fernandes' performances for Portugal are also a big talking point. A lot of people said that Portugal had two world-class midfielders in João Neves and Vitinha behind it, yet Bruno Fernandes was still holding back that middle of the park for Portugal. Hilarious. The first thing I want to say is Portugal a well set up team? No one rates Roberto Martinez as the manager, yet we're still ignoring the effect of a manager in these sort of conversations regarding Bruno Fernandes. Did João Neves and Vitinha perform well enough in their roles? No. Were they protecting the backline well? No. Were they progressing play well? No. So Bruno Fernandes may have had a bad tournament. Vitinha also had a bad tournament, and João Neves also had a bad tournament. Maybe it's not because of one player. Maybe because the system for Portugal wasn't right. Yet, in these sort of conversations, Bruno Fernandes is getting the blame. Make it make sense. Now, another big talking point regarding Bruno Fernandes is his usage of the ball. Is he the most efficient or plays with the ball when it comes to how he looks after it? At times, you know what? He's not. You guys saw his performance against Hull City on the opening weekend of the Premier League, and there was probably elements of that was very frustrating in terms of he got the ball, tried audacious passes that were never going to come off. But in my personal opinion, I believe Bruno Fernandes has really evolved as a footballer. In terms of, let's say, the hero ball criticism regarding Bruno Fernandes, the first season that he was at Manchester United, I used to hear it quite a lot in terms of I did think he was quite wasteful, even though he's producing the numbers. But I think Erik ten Hag really changed it. Ever since Erik ten Hag managed Bruno Fernandes, I felt like Bruno Fernandes understood his role within the side a lot better. He looked after the ball a lot better. And I think Bruno Fernandes has even spoken about that in interviews that he's done. And I think playing a bit deeper for Manchester United under Ruben Amorim, again, he's spoken about how that's, let's say, improved his game understanding. Has these, let's say, same hero ball allegations really been a thing regarding Bruno Fernandes over the last, let's say, 2 to 3 years? I think the answer to that question is no. Of course, there's going to be games where he's very frustrating. It's natural. There's no way a player is going to perform at a high level throughout every single game. There's going to be games like Hull City where he frustrates you. But for the grand scheme of things, over, let's say, enough of a time span over the last 2 or 3 years, I don't agree with those allegations anymore that Bruno Fernandes is very wasteful. Now, another thing that I believe people fail to mention in this sort of debate, if Manchester United are better without Bruno Fernandes, is the overall attacking patterns you actually see on the football pitch. In terms of under Carrick or any other manager previously, would you say United have a set way of scoring goals? For example, you saw Fulham yesterday. They were trying to create those wide overloads out wide and get a ball across. That isn't a constant attacking, let's say, pattern or play that you're going to see with Arbeloa. Would you say Michael Carrick has a clear identity in terms of how he wants his team to create chances? No. Would you say Ruben Amorim had that? In my eyes, the answer to that question is no. So why do people think taking out one of the best creators currently in world football in Bruno Fernandes is going to improve United as a team on the football pitch when United clearly just don't have a clear identity in the final third? It's just a question I'm asking, guys. Answer it, please, down below in the comments. Now, I feel like these conversations will also hold a lot more weight if Bruno Fernandes was actually playing back. Did Bruno Fernandes have a bad game against Hull City? Yes. Did Bruno Fernandes have a bad World Cup? Yes. But is Bruno Fernandes one of the best creators in world football factually? Yes, you guys can see the numbers on the screen here when we're looking at creative numbers. In the top percentiles for everything. When we're looking at ball progression numbers, in the top percentiles for everything. When we're looking at shooting numbers, in the top percentiles for everything. When we're looking at his final product, in the top percentiles for everything. Make it make sense. Now, another point that I really want to mention is when people say Bruno Fernandes is bad technically. Now, I feel like the problem with that sort of conversation is when people hear the word technical ability, they think about dribbling straight away. Is Bruno Fernandes a good dribbler? No. Is he, let's say, a good ball carrier? No. But technical ability doesn't end at just dribbling. How a person strikes a ball, for example, their weight of pass, their range and their, let's say, passing capabilities all come under technical ability in my eyes. And Bruno Fernandes shines in a lot of those categories. So is Bruno Fernandes technically able? Come on, guys, let's not be silly here. Now, all in all, I cannot believe this is a debate. Can Bruno Fernandes be frustrating at times? Yes. Does he have flaws in his game? Yes. But do his pros still outweigh his cons that he brings to the Manchester United side? By far. And today he's probably going to win PFA Player of the Year. It just shows players in football rate him. I don't get where this online hatred of Bruno Fernandes really comes from. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back soon.